The movie kicks off with a boy named Jesse having breakfast with his family. Jesse was a bit of a loner and his family was strapped for cash, which really got him down. He had 5 sisters and was closest to his younger sister who walked to school with him. One day at school, Jesse was supposed to compete in a race, but someone had swiped his shoes, forcing him to head home. He asked his mom about them, and she said they were so beat up she tossed him. She offered him his younger sister's shoes, but he balked as they were obviously girl shoes. Just then, his dad chimed in, promising to buy him new ones. But with money tight, Jesse was told to just wear his sister's shoes for now. So he tried to disguise them with a black marker, hoping they wouldn't look so girly. But then disaster struck. Water splashed on them and the black started running. Heartbroken, Jesse tearfully ran to catch his school bus. Next, we see Jesse in class, where a couple of kids started teasing him about the lady shoes. Just then, the principal walked in with a girl named Leslie, introducing her as the new kid in school. The teacher then assigned an essay for everyone to read aloud the next day. After class, there was a race, and Jesse was planning to participate. Leslie decided to join in too. When the race started, Jesse was in the lead, but out of nowhere, Leslie zoomed past everyone and won. Overjoyed, Leslie went to grab Jesse's hand, but he just silently walked away, feeling totally humiliated. On the bus ride home with his sister, Leslie hopped on too and got off at their stop. Jesse figured she was following him. It turned out she'd just moved to the area and lived nearby. The next day at school, some boys were giving Jesse a hard time again when Leslie swooped in. She asked to see Jesse's drawings and showered him with praise, which drove the bullies away. Then class started, and the teacher asked Leslie to read her essay. Turns out, Leslie was into scuba diving and started sharing all her hobbies, which really inspired Jesse. After school, Leslie sat in the back of the bus, a spot usually reserved for seniors, so Jesse offered her his seat next to him. Later, the three of them headed home together, and it was the first time Jesse really connected with someone. Leslie challenged Jesse to a race as they walked, and they ended up running into the woods. They stumbled upon a rope swing over a creek, and Leslie fearlessly swung across, but Jesse was too scared to try it. Eventually, with Leslie's help and encouragement, he made it to the other side. They ventured deeper into the woods and found a broken-down car, which Leslie immediately imagined as her carriage. Further on, they spotted a treehouse, which Leslie envisioned as a magical palace, like she was a princess and all the forest creatures had come to see her. It was like she had stepped into a dream world. Leslie starts pretending the beat-up treehouse is her castle, hollering out like she's addressing a crowd. "Fear not, I am your princess, and I'm here to save you all. I shall watch over you." Just then, a fierce wind whipped through the trees, but Leslie's having none of it, finding joy in the drama. She takes it as a sign, like her pronouncements are actually coming true. She dubs their kingdom Terabithia. From then on, they'd hightail it to that place after school, their own private Narnia or Shangri-La. They put their backs into fixing up the treehouse, which only brought them closer together, and Jesse started shedding his old skin. School didn't feel like such a slog anymore. He was cracking jokes, making friends. One day, a girl on the bus fakes a fall, acting like someone shoved her. She points the finger at Jesse, claiming he did it. So the bus driver kicks Jesse off as punishment, leaving him to hoof it home. When he gets to his stop, he finds Leslie waiting for him. Together, they head to their treehouse. Sitting in their usual spot, they gab away. It's a pretty magical place, all right. A sweet little creek gurgles near their royal palace. They even start nicknaming the stuff around them after the kids who give them grief at school. A squirrel pops out as they're talking and starts pelting them with nuts. Jesse christens the squirrel after the most mischievous kid in school, picturing it as a real little devil, and starts play fighting with it. Back home, Jesse's in his room, lost in a sketch, when his family surprises him with a birthday bash. Times are tight, so they've been growing their own grub in the backyard, but some critter's been sneaking into the greenhouse and munching on their hard work. So Jesse's dad sets a trap, hoping to catch the bandit. The next day, Leslie gives Jesse a birthday gift, a set of fancy art supplies. Jesse's blown away. It's way too generous. From then on, Jesse and Leslie are at the treehouse every day, turning it into something special. One afternoon, as they're hanging out in their fortress, a tree crashes down nearby. They rush out to take a gander and end up staring at the roots, imagining them as some monstrous, evil beast like the devil himself. It's not real, of course, just Leslie letting her imagination run wild. She's got this knack for turning a molehill into a mountain, making everything epic like some mythical creature is coming to get him. And so their game goes on. One day, they find an animal caught in Jesse's dad's trap. It's the one that's been raiding their garden, but Jesse can't bring himself to hurt it, so he lets it go in the woods. His dad blows a gasket when he finds out, giving Jesse a real dressing down. He warns the animal will be back, hungrier than ever, and they'll be left with nothing. Jesse, bummed out, storms off. Jesse's life was a real mixed bag, but Leslie's arrival had thrown him a lifeline. One day, Jesse spots a stray dog at a shop, a real lost soul. On a whim, he adopts it and gives it to Leslie as a gift. Leslie's over the moon. She names him Prince and makes him the guardian of their magical realm. Later, they head into Terabithia with their new pup when they spot a giant tree towering over them. Leslie's completely mesmerized, totally lost in the fantasy. She even names the gigantic lumbering thing after the girl who causes the most trouble. Then they both hightail it, running from the giant tree. Afterwards, they make their way back to their treehouse. One afternoon, Jessie walks Leslie to her house after getting off the bus, and she introduces him to her folks, that Leslie's parents are both writers, which explains why she's so smart and creative. One day, Leslie spies a huge bell in the church. Seeing it, she figures that bell's gotta be in her dreamland. That same night, Jessie's dad hands him the keys to fetch something from the greenhouse, but clumsy old Jessie drops him. His sister scoops him up and gives him to Leslie, who's heading that way. Leslie starts using the keys as a kind of bell, like something out of a fairy tale, prances off to her magical world. Jessie's dad gives him a right tongue lashing for losing the keys. The next day, Leslie realizes those keys belong to Jessie's dad, and he's tearing the place up looking for them. So she spills the beans to Jessie, and they both hightail it to the same treehouse, stepping back into their enchanted kingdom, Terabithia. They see these downright bizarre creatures, and Leslie's convinced they're out to get them for stealing the kingdom's keys. They both start freaking out in their mind, but Leslie kind of keeps Jessie from losing it completely, and they scramble back, fighting tooth and nail. Jessie gives the keys straight back to his dad. Later, while Jesse's chilling in his room, his music teacher rings him up and invites him to a museum. Jesse tells his mom he's off to the art museum and heads off with his teacher. When Jesse gets home in the evening, he finds his family's a mess of tears. His mom, whilst giving him what for, asks where on earth he'd been. He tells her he told her he was museum bound with his teacher. Then his dad, choking back tears, breaks the news. Leslie's gone. Seems she was trying to swing across the creek in the woods, but the rope snapped and she drowned. Jesse's heart just breaks in two. Can't believe his best buddies bit the dust. Leslie's dad's beside himself when he visits her house and says to Jesse, "You were her best friend. She thought the world of you. You were her only mate." Time marches on. Jesse wanders out to Leslie's magical world, solo. His little sister tags along, but Jesse, flying off the handle, yells at her to beat it, cause that place was just for him and Leslie. No third wheels allowed. Jesse clams up again, just like before. Doesn't want to jaw with anyone, chucking Leslie's coloring pencils into the water. Just then, he hears someone coming. Turns out it's just his dad. Jesse breaks down, giving his dad a bear hug, blaming himself for Leslie's passing. Says if he'd gone to the museum with Leslie, she'd still be here. But his dad sets him straight, telling him it ain't his fault. It's just life, the way it goes. He takes Jesse home, trying to soothe him. After a while, Leslie's family packs up to leave. Jesse sprints over to him and asks if he can use the lumber they've got stacked up. Leslie's dad, feeling all torn up inside, says sure. So Jesse builds a bridge with the wood, stretching it over the creek into the woods so folks can get across. Jesse makes amends with his little sister for being a jerk and takes her to see the bridge he built. He tells her, pointing to the treehouse, that the whole place is a castle and she's the princess, and all the folks coming to this place coming to get a load of her. Jesse's sister, hearing the whole shebang, starts imagining it all, just like Leslie used to, seeing it as her dreamland, where the living Terabithians are there to welcome them. And that's the end of the story. Thanks for watching.